Okay.
So we'll monitor it for at least another 3 minutes to see if there's flames on the surface or burning on the floor. In this case, it's burning on the surface. Plus, for safety reasons, we'll let it burn out as much as it can, and then we'll turn on the exhaust system and evacuate as much of the smoke as possible before we open this chamber lid, because that exposes everything in this room. That's where all the soot and filth comes from.
Okay.
You can see how thick that really is. Our scrubbing system really has a hard time dealing with these kinds of materials. We put off so much smoke that it blows the system. Turn the light on.
Okay.
Alright, so 10 minutes of the test is over, plus the evaluation time. There's something else I'd like to mention. The test chamber has 2 thermocouples that we've got installed at this time. One at the 13-foot point of the chamber. The numbers say 9, but that's based on the start of the tip of the flame. The total length of the test chamber is 25 feet. So the thermocouple that's embedded in the brick in the floor of the test chamber, it gives us a very generalized idea of the temperature of the test chamber. We start each test at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, plus or minus 5. Excuse me, 105, plus or minus 5. And this is the indicating temperature. There's much better ways to do it. You know, we'd like to have a bunch of thermocouples and get a gradient across this whole thing, but this is the way the standard's written. There's an additional thermocouple here at the end of the chamber. This is a 24-inch type K thermocouple with an exposed beam. It sticks up into the test chamber 18 inches up, so we can see the temperature of the exhaust gases as they exit the chamber. It's one of the cutoff points. That's what you see right now, 333 Fahrenheit for cooling off. This is one of the cutoff points for us during a test. If this thing gets above about 1500, 1600 Fahrenheit, the windows can start to break. The chamber is rated at 2000, but that's not what we see. Realistically, if we go above 15, 16, the ductwork will start to glow, some of the aluminum fittings in the back room will start to drip. It just gets too hot to manage, so it's a cutoff point for us. And he brought the pointer all the way here to the very end of the test chamber, because it's a part of the process when we run each test. We zero and span the system. But if it had gone this far, the client certainly wouldn't be happy with these results. 19 and a half feet on the reading, you know, in just several minutes will give you maybe a 200 enough flame spreads. I'm going to show you some.
You said, what else would you do to improve it? Said add thermocouples, anything else?
Well, add thermocouples. We'd also like to see maybe a mass flow meter. It uses 98% pure methane, and it goes through a rotometer, so we know we set it during the test, or before the test, to calibrate it, but we'd like to have a more realistic readout of exactly how much gas is traveling through this thing, so we can incorporate that with a thermocouple and a pitot tube, and then get the heat content of that flame. I know, hey, it's about 80 kilowatts if you do the math, but I'd like to have a more quantitative value of that.
Great.
Thermocouples throughout the chamber, and maybe up here by the windows, so we can tell exactly where the flame is instead of just looking through the glass and interpreting, because you saw how bad that soot buildup was. Eventually, it's really extremely subjective. When you get down this far, it's kind of a guess.
Okay.
There's no way to do it.
Good.
Let me show you something in the back room with the light system. All right. So the 2 simple measurements, and I pointed out the linear, the string pop. This duct.
Gonna open it up?
Yes.
To get smoky?
All right, we're gonna close that door so we can open this. This entire ductwork makes a giant U-turn through the wall back at the far end. This thing's gonna be hot, so watch out. So right around here, which is about the middle of the test chamber, we've got a light system. You can hear a little hiss of air. So this is gonna be dirty because we just ran a pretty sooty test. But very, very simple measurement. A light bulb and a light beam that passes vertically through the test chamber. And then at the top, a simple photocell. And we usually have to clean this after every test because soot builds up on the photocell. That little hissing sound you hear, if you can hear it in the camera, is air. We pressurize this chamber lightly to minimize that soot buildup. That's another thing in the test standard. You want to flood this chamber with air so the smoke doesn't get up into this column and contaminate that lens. But it's a never-ending battle because certain test materials just put off so much smoke it overloads that little system. But this light beam travels vertically through the chamber, and we measure percent transmission, which is a logarithmic function of optical density. So we can take that, calculate the smoke developed index.
Okay.
This is an area that you have to constantly clean and constantly maintain. So there are better systems than this. Another improvement we want to make, a major improvement we want to make, which we'll have to do concurrently because the standard dictates this type of equipment, this physical arrangement and everything. We want to have a laser system. If you're familiar with the cone calorimeter, Astm 1354, a much better, more accurate, more linear response in a light system with a laser of a specific wavelength, specific type, instead of a light bulb. It looks like a spot lamp from a cop car. Right?
Yeah.
Different every time I change the bulb. We have to recalibrate. So laser
one.
system be much more consistent. We've also installed big screens that are behind this. I can't open this door, it's too hot, but there's screens, mesh screens put in place because all of this soot you see, this is what's building up on the windows in the test chamber. This is what's going through the ductwork. When they pull these screens out, we got to clean these off. The nature of this test, so dirty, puts off so much. This used to just be evacuated, or blown out of the building, gone through the stack, and it'd end up on cars in the parking lot. Be in your clothes, you look like you're working in a coal mine when you come out of here. So
Maybe we can have a look at the scrubber outside. That's
Yeah,
pretty
surface.
detailed.
watch your step here. Cords and cables. It'll be loud, you don't hear anything.
All right. That's not bad.
All right. For obvious reasons, we can't just emit this smoke directly into the atmosphere, not only because of guidelines by the EPA, but we're in the middle of the city now. You know, we used to be out in the country, but the city has grown around us, and aside from the legal implications, there's just too many complaints, it's too dirty. The test only runs for 10 minutes, but it puts off so much material that we have to run it through a scrubbing system. This is a wet cloud chamber scrubber, and there's two main chambers to it. The first column that you see on the other side, travel around,
Yeah.
is just basically a large shower column. Water droplets are raining down. They absorb most of the acid compounds in the gas, as well as a lot of the large particulate. The second chamber has two electrically charged grids, positive and negative charged grids that will attract a lot of the particulate and the smoke that's left over from the first chamber. So it's extremely effective at absorbing a lot of the materials from the smoke, but it comes at a cost. We have these waste tanks, and they're full of water, and that water has cyanide in it. It might have arsenic, cadmium, nickel, all sorts of, whatever the client puts in their material, it's going to end up in the smoke because of how we burn it. And then we have to deal with water with metals and heavy metals, or cyanide's always cyanide. Cyanide we can treat, the metals we can't.
Right.
Legally, so we have to deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah, this system is a major pain, but it's a necessity. We have to deal with it, otherwise we'll get shut down.
Good one. All right, Josh, thanks very much.
You're welcome. You learned something about the